Hello and welcome to Channel Sport on Sunday. I'm Ken Ochonogo. It is 56 days to the World Cup. So Nigeria may not be there, but Africa will be fully represented. Our 5 teams are representing Africa. 56 days to go. Yes, that is it. So just hold your clock and follow the countdown, because in 56 days, that will be in on November the 20th. On November the 20th, we are starting the World Cup. It is the first ever Winter World Cup. It is the second World Cup in the Asian continent. Remember Korea, Japan 2002. And this one is going to call the air-conditioned the air-conditioned World Cup. But I aptly, not I here, because the team on this studio, I think we've christened it the Christmas World Cup for the kids, at school, at kindergarten level. I mean, by the time you get into that level, you see that this song they normally sing, 12 days to Christmas. What you got to do? So the Christmas, the final comes up on the 18th of December. 18th from when you calculate 18, if 18 is on a Sunday, know that the next Sunday is Christmas. If 18 is on a Monday, know that the next Monday, which means 7 days to Christmas. I wonder what that song, 7 days to Christmas, what does that song say? I don't know. Some of you those of you who are very familiar with it, I know my kids sing it, but I've not really taken my time to understand what it is. Maybe, but we have somebody in the studio. Maybe he knows that song, and I will ask him, on the 7th day to Christmas, what does it say? So on the 18th of December, the world will have a new FIFA World Cup champion, an emerging nation. I don't know the countries that will not. I don't know the country that will win it too, but I know the countries that will not win it. Nigeria will not win it. that is definitely the fact that Nigeria will not win it, because Nigeria won't be at the World Cup. It's so painful, because we made our debut a very long time ago. 1994 sounds like ages now. And then Nigeria, we said 3 steps go, 1 step backward. 3 steps go, 1 step backward. We were there in 94. We were there in 98. We were there in 2002. 1, 2, 3. Then in 2006, we stepped back. And then the Africa came in the Africa World Cup in 2010, 2014, in 2018 we were in Russia. Here in 2022, we went back. So it is 3 forward, 1 backward. 3 forward, 1 backward. So we are starting the kickoff, the countdown to the World Cup today. Is going to be regular on this show till the 18th of December, where we can all do, after then, probably on Christmas Day. If we are here, then we'll know what we want to do. I will check that day on the calendar. I think we've not done that. We should have done that to let you know if it's going to be the final of the World Cup. Is it going to take place on a Sunday or on a Monday? I just hope it takes place on a Sunday, so we can have a Christmas show. We can have it right here with you guys and give it what you deserve. A full served plate of what the World Cup entails. 1930, mark that in your 1930. I don't know. That was a very, 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 very long time ago. They said the Queen was born in 1926. So the World Cup started 4 years after the Queen, the Queen of England. It just left. Was born. So 1930 was when the story started. But before we go on all that, let me introduce my guy in the house. He is here already. Tio, you welcome to the show.
It's 12 days of Christmas. That's the name of the song.
Yeah, that's the name of the song.
Yes.
But on the 7th day of can you sing it?
I really cannot remember the song.
But what part of it can you remember?
On the 7th day of Christmas, it was 7 geese laying, something like that.
7 geese laying.
Yes, that's it. You might not even know the song because of you. I know you went to one of those.
Yeah, we went to the old school.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm not pretending.
Well, on the 18th of December 2022, it has to be the World Cup final, and that is going to be a Sunday.
Oh wow! Can you imagine? My wishes have come true.
It's going to be a Sunday.
Yeah.
And so it means that 7 days after, one country is going to have a very, very, very interesting
Christmas.
Very interesting Christmas.
Wow.
And whoever finishes second, I'll feel for them. But Nigeria, we know for a fact that we will not be there.
So nobody remembers Croatia?
Remember? Not at all. So sad. But then again, that was 2018, and they came up against the deserved champions, France, back then. But it's the World Cup. Yes, there's been a lot of controversy And leading up to this one, quite a number of people have talked about the fact that the rules in Qatar are very, very, immediately generally, are very, very strict. You know, disturbing news coming out, even from the moment it was actually passed on that, announced that Qatar will be hosting at the World Cup and all of that. But so far, so good. They've been able to brave all the odds, all the harsh criticisms that have come their way. And, well, in November, we're going to have the first winter Christmas. Unfortunately, the Queen of England will not be able to see this one. Since she witnessed every other one.
She has witnessed every other one. Oh, she witnessed all that before she left. I like that. I like that.
So,
she was born in 1926. So 4 years after her birth, she witnessed the first win in the first World Cup.
Yes.
Ah, wow.
You know, so and she was Queen when England won it.
Yes, in 1966.
Yeah, so it's one of, you know.
I presented the trophy to Bobby Moore.
Exactly.
Saying, you have this.
Exactly. So we're going to be having the World Cup. So sad that Nigeria will not be going, but Africa will be well represented.
Yes, Africa will be represented. Yes. We'll still come to that because right now it is the time for friendlies now. The competition has not started. They are getting ready. They are trying to get into sync. They are trying to try to get that understanding within the team. Maybe you can have those telepathic passes. So as they are trying to synergize, there is nothing anybody can do about it. God is the period of build up, but also come with some drawbacks. You can get injury. You can get whatever it is. So when you pick, we shall look at how they fared during this week, and also even those of us that are not going. Nigeria, we were there. We were there. But we'll come back to that later on because also there will be tennis. The great one. I think Jimmy, I don't know. I think we miss Jimmy on this set sometimes because this is the time that Jimmy would have been singing,
waxing lyrically about.
And tell you that he's not just the greatest tennis player on planet Earth, but he is the greatest sportsman ever. That is what Jimmy will tell you. Jimmy will tell you there is no other person than Roger Federer. But then the guy is bowing out elegantly. The guy is bowing out with. I mean, you see the tears even from his opponents, from those who have played against him, his greatest rivals, and what the rivalry has built that friendship, that understanding, that mutual respect. And so you get this thing and you ask yourself, I mean, what else do you deserve? Baba twins twice. I think he has twins twice.
Yes, he does,
double twins. so he grew up in the tennis court. And himself, he has a twin brother, Franklin.
Careful.
Yes, he has a twin brother. And himself and the brother, by virtue of the father, their father, worked at that tennis court. Yeah. The man, they say, when you are diligent in your duties, you understand, you get rewarded. Yeah. At the end of the construction, the father was employed as a maintenance man right there at the court. So in the container they were living, the mother is a nurse. So if the mother is a nurse, the mother goes to work most of the time. The nurses work nights, so they stay with their father. But when the mother is not working night, okay, they go and stay with their mother. But that time they knew nothing. But the best way, their playground was the tennis court.
Exactly. I was reading, I was listening to one of his tweets that's talking about Roger Federer. Said he started playing this for fun as a way to just channel his energy as something possible. And before you know it, he has become the best in the world. He said he didn't really ask for it, but then again, he talked about the fact that consistency is what got him to this level. And to a large extent, now he's retired. Now he's played his final games. The fact that he still gets to play even against the younger chaps. Any competition you enter with Roger Federer, you enter with Rafael Nadal, you enter with Novak Djokovic, they are still amongst the favorites, respective of their age. Respective of the fact that...
Nadal won 2 out of 4. Djokovic won the other one.
That some of the younger ones that come up against them in this competition say, I've been watching you since I was a kid, and then they get to play against their idol. And these guys have remained consistent.
This guy is 41. That mean, as I told you, he was somebody who is 20.
But he made his debut. Some of them were even born.
You were born watching him play.
Exactly, watching him play, and you got to play against him. And even at this level, he can still perform at the highest level. But then again, yes, we know that your body gives up on you at a certain time. You're able to compete against, and these young boys are really not smiling. You get to see them play and all of that. But I'm really, really happy about the way he bowed out with grace, in style,
in style.
And then everybody was crying. Had guy. Well, I didn't cry.
Is there anything more beautiful than choosing how you exit?
Exactly.
You understand?
On your own terms.
On your own terms.
That
this is how I want to go.
Yes.
Celebrated. I choose my time. I choose the moment. I choose the place.
The moment I first, when he first dropped a voice note on Twitter, then before the same statement now appeared. When I listened to the voice note, I could literally feel
The goosebumps.
goosebumps all over my skin. Like, okay. You know, and we talked about it for a very long time. Like, oh, when are these people going to even... Let other people are still coming.
No. You see, the only way you can ask the king to vacate the king is to beat the king. You understand? You have to be better than the king. You don't just say it is my turn.
And they have been good for
Yes.
so long. They have been good for so long. But well, like you said, did it on this time.
But how difficult? We saw Serena just 2-3 weeks back. You know, bowing out, and then we now saw Federer bowing out. How difficult it is after being in the allure of the glamour, the everywhere, not just the money. For boxers, you can talk about the money, but for this, I mean, how difficult it is to work out. Federer with all his injuries at the point when he was at 17, we thought he was not coming back.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
He came back and won 3.
Yes.
You understand?
To get it to 20. Yes.
Yeah. So I got it on number 20. Now at a point we were saying they were all going to be 18. You understand? But they got to 20, and then it's not been 2-3 weeks after Serena left. She's still giving that hint that probably, I know Federer will not.
Federer has gone on to say that he will play at least twice a week.
Exhibition.
Yes, he'll play exhibition games.
Yeah.
And then he wants to now do more. Already, the sport, because of him alone, the sport is really massive in this country. He wants to do more to make it even more popular in Switzerland. And then he wants to take the magic of tennis around the world in his own. So he will say a lot of movement, a lot of charity games, basically putting himself out there. Probably he'll run a couple of commentaries, I think, as well. But he cannot lead the sport, Ken. It's not possible for him. It's not possible.
It's his DNA.
Exactly. This is all he knows. This is all he has, So he really cannot leave the sport. Right, but in his only two ways, he will find his best to always contribute or do his best to make sure that he contributes to the growth of the game.
Why is doing that in Switzerland? He should also remember that, no matter where you come from, as far as you are a black man, you are an African. His mother is African. So he has nothing. He will come to Africa and also develop it in Africa. So we expect Federer, as we are developing tennis in Switzerland, come to Africa, start from the south, and take it to the central and bring it to Nigeria. I want to see Roger Federer in Nigeria. The Federer fans in Nigeria are massive.
Yes.
And I tell you because when I just write one small thing about Nadal, you know how they will grow.
I know for a fact that Jimmy will pay premium money to see him play, to watch him play. Yes.
A lot of tennis fans love Federer. Yeah. The thing with picking who you support and not, it's like football.
Yeah.
If you are a Manchester United fan, there are sometimes you will not like Arsenal. Arsenal was their greatest rival.
Yeah.
If you are a Barcelona fan, you will not like Real Madrid.
Obviously.
And if you are Madrid, sure you understand. Pete Sampras, when was talking about Pete Sampras last week, and then you see Pete Sampras. Why am I not a fan of Pete Sampras? Because I'm a fan of Andre Agassi.
Agassi.
You understand? So when Pete beats Agassi, I mean, but Pete, I have this friend who just came back from Europe, and he said, "Oh, Pete the handsome, Pete." I was almost like breaking his head. I'm sorry, I would say that. But that is how it is. When you support someone, you are a fan of one person, that person's rival, becomes automatically you are off there. But you cannot help but love Federer, whether you are his fan or not. And I tell you, his fan base all over the world. I go and see his followership on the social media. It will tell you something. And no stain, no blemish. He had a very splendid career. So before we come back, that is time. Before we come back to football, because today we're talking football, like we said, it is counting down to the World Cup, and this is the first edition. On subsequent shows, we are going to see all that we are going to do. Let us take a little bit of boxing. Boxing. The same thing. Tyson Fury, of his own volition, without anybody talking to him, only he says, after his trilogy with Wilder, I said, I'm done. I'm retired. But we see Muhammad Ali retire and come back. We see a lot of retire and come back. We see the George Foreman retire and come back. They will always come back. Because the thing with boxing, that the big payday, not just that, the big, just enter there for 36 minutes. You understand? Formerly used to be 15 rounds of which are 45 minutes, but now it is 12, maximum of 12 rounds. But just go over there and get it and get the millions into the kitty. There's supposed to be his fight with AJ.
Anthony Joshua, yes.
Anthony Joshua. But Usyk, just came into the picture. And that fight was thwarted. And unfortunately for AJ, he not just did lose once, he lost twice to Usyk. Now, so AJ was licking his wounds on his own, gingerly, on his own. When
here comes Fury.
Fury said, come, let us fight. You understand? Okay, let us fight. I've just lost a fight. But okay, we're going to fight on December the 12th.
He said he'll be healed. Like,
you understand?
By December,
I will fight the fight. AJ said, no, let us not fight. Let us go December 17th, and so I can have about 2 weeks. Then, okay, that is it. You can see.
All right. Joshua Fury updates. 258 and Matchroom Boxing can confirm on behalf of Anthony Joshua that we accepted all terms presented to us by Fury's team for a fight December 3rd, last Friday. Okay, and then this is from Frank Warren, and he says the contract will be with you very soon. It's been back and forth on social media.
Good. Now you first of all you talk about the pause. You talk about the pause. You say you want.
Okay, remember I said this was due to the Queen's passing. It was agreed to halt all communications.
All communication they stopped, and then you now said, okay, fine. You want Joshua was going to 50-50. You said 60-40. You said December 3rd. You thought Joshua wasn't going to accept the fight. Joshua said, okay, fine. I accept all your terms. But now, after you accepted all your terms, okay, fine. Let us look at the negotiation. You sent the contract a week ago, and here he is trying to give. Just to yesterday, he now gave Joshua a 48 hours deadline, ultimatum. Sign the contract by Monday, or I move on. I wish we can see his statement, released before the world. That sign it by Monday. Yeah. Where on earth are you giving somebody just... The person will look at the lawyers will look at everything. Yeah. They look at the clauses. They, all the clauses you have put in your own contract. They will read it very well. Look the fine lines and see whether they are going to accept
the terms.
And if they want to include their own clauses, they will send it back to you. I say the guys should just sign the contract. I have never seen...
Okay, Ken, I think I'm looking at a statement here from him. And he talked about... He said we'll know by Monday anyway, because if it's not done by Monday, then I'm moving on. I'm not waiting around for some guy who's lost 3 of his last 5 fights. Yeah, he's lucky. Exactly. It shouldn't be taking this long to sign a contract. If he doesn't do it by Monday, then he'll be moving on. But I think he went on to say something, and he said...
I can't be waiting for somebody who has lost 3 fights.
Exactly.
The guy lost 3 fights before you went to...
He now said he's lucky that I'm giving him a world title shot.
Yes.
I don't mind chucking him a bone. I think, Ken, it's
Is he afraid of Joshua?
He's not. I don't think he's afraid of Joshua.
Look, that is it.
Okay, I'm not waiting around for some guy who's lost 3 of his last 5 fights. He's lucky that I'm giving him a world title shot. If not, he will have to wait a long time to get another one. Ken, to a large extent, I think everybody knows that there's no love lost between Joshua and Fury. Okay. Fury has not hidden the fact that he doesn't respect Joshua. He doesn't believe Joshua is even worthy, or when he was champion, to be called the champion in the first instance. And then Joshua went on to even probably by losing in the manner in which he lost to Alexander Usyk, which I think was a fight that was called, even here on this show. We hoped that Joshua would go on to win, but then again, we saw what Usyk did, and obviously Usyk took his belt. Now, Fury doesn't respect Joshua. And that's why it's a given. We all know this. He's also now trying to make Joshua know that, see, I am the one calling the shots here. I am the one giving you a title opportunity. If not, you have to wait for a very long time. Ken, whether we like it or not, Joshua has agreed to this, but I understand what...
So what is the hurry?
Fury wants to humiliate Joshua, even before the fight.
So the next thing, as the police on the road...
When you tell someone that you're chucking the person a bone, let me help you. We know...
But the guy was on his own when you went to meet him.
But you went to meet him and he accepted.
All the terms you have given, the guy has accepted. So unless you are not ready, I think that there is a statement from Eddie Hearn from Joshua's camp. Where like, I think it was Michael Benson that tweeted. I will get that story out. They said, look, it's like this guy he's not ready. Because if he's ready, you won't be trying to put impossible hurdles to it. You make everything possible. The fight is December the 3rd.
I think he's really just trying to mess up.
We are not yet into October. We are not yet into November. So what is the big deal? The man has accepted the date. He has accepted your terms.
And we talked about it on this show, the fact that when he said, I like Fury a lot.
He said he will come back.
His wife, he threw his wife's name into the mix. The family is saying that. He has always wanted to fight Joshua. He had not gotten the opportunity. I think now he has seen it, but Wait, you can always sign a dotted line. Let this young man go through the terms of, and like you said, the young man was licking his wounds.
Yes.
Still coming back from the fact that, okay, he's lost his belt, and my argument is, I'll never get that back again. Now you have presented this opportunity, which is very, very noble of you. But give him time to go through this thing, and then we can see. Everybody wants to see that fight happen. I think I already know, if the fight happens, I think I know the way he's going to swing already. It's my own personal opinion.
You are free. I still believe that in heavyweights, you see, Fury thinks that he is a better boxer. He's undefeated.
Okay.
But I tell you this, he's been down. He's been knocked down.
He's been knocked down, but he didn't stay down. Ken.
Good. You see, we'll talk about those controversies here on the count and then the time he was given. Sometimes 2 seconds make a lot.
Yes.
Before, in whatever it is. Go and check the slow count and other things. Wilder knocked him down, and I believe that Joshua can send him to sleep just by catching him in the jaw. We want to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with Channel Sport on Sunday. You go nowhere. All right, welcome back. It is Channel Sport on Sunday. And we are having a swell time here. Ope has just joined us. Let me welcome Ope first. Ope, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ken, for having me.
Okay, we've been looking at Roger Federer. We've been looking at the Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua deadline. Sign the contract in 48 hours or I move on. Are you sure the guy, does he want this fight?
No, I think Fury needs cash.
Okay.
And the ATM is Joshua.
Okay.
Joshua is the boxer now, the fighter that can just pull, rake in the cash.
Yes.
So I think, the last thing Fury told her was he made a promise to the wife that he was never going to box again. But this is your last chance for making that mega. Fury, you see, could not get you the mega cash. Despite being a battle of the undefeated. No, yes. But Joshua is the guy that has that aura to draw in this cash. Feel Wembley, feel London, Tottenham.
Feel Qatar, feel anywhere.
So he sees that his last chance. His main focus will be the battle of the undefeated, but that will give him lesser cash. But get this one-time payoff and you move on.
So is he? I know. I'm trying to select my words here because I don't want to look at his character or maybe his history and stuff like that. You came out, you are the one that said you're retired. Like you said your wife said you shouldn't fight again.
Exactly.
You love your wife so much, you keep your words, and the world celebrated you. You were still holding those belts. You didn't release the belt. That's why even the sanctioning bodies were still asking you, are you still with this or are you still, let us, so they were even giving him some weeks to make come out to make a categorical statement. He didn't do all that. Now, formally, he's come out, first of all, you say you're going to fight for free. You come out and say you're going to fight for 500 billion. The next thing you are coming out again that, the moment AJ lost, you are calling out AJ. You gave the terms. The man said, give me extra 2-3 weeks so that I can prepare. You said, no, those are your terms. In terms of the sharing ratio, you said, okay, you want 60-40. The guy said, let us go 50-50. He said, no, you want 60-40. Even like you said that the guy is bringing in the money. Okay, fine, you are the champion, you're the defender, you have the belt, you have everything. I agree with you. I will go for the 60-40. I take 40, you take 60. I'm coming, okay, even the terms, your December the 3rd that you said, I am going to do that and everything. The next thing, you signed the contract a week ago. And then only for you to come out yesterday and say you are giving the guy 48 hours to sign those papers. I mean, wouldn't these lawyers look at it? Wouldn't they look at it with the clause that you have inserted, to understand it, interpretations, everything? And then the next thing, either you sign that or you move on.
Yeah, I think for looking at this thing on the face value, Fury needs the fight more than Joshua. He needs the money. After Joshua back-to-back losses against you see, Joshua knows
over
that
40 million pounds.
Yes, and he knows he has to climb again.
Yes.
So if you are giving this accelerated fight, without the fight, there will still be a Joshua who will still go back, climb back,
of course.
Yes, climb the pyramid from the base. So if you want him to come from the top, it's you that Fury needs the cash, not Joshua. If Fury withdraws the offer, Joshua, the natural thing, and that's why they're talking of a Joshua, the American wider fight.
Yes.
So the coefficient
and that Joshua
wider fight, we won't pull in more cash than you see.
This is not because it's a battle of Britain.
Exactly.
Yes. So
I think Fury has wanted this fight for a very long time. Like I said, I think he just wants to prove a point. But then again, he doesn't respect Anthony Joshua, and that's why he's doing all of
But
this.
he respects the money.
For someone that say he was willing to fight for free, and then
The next thing you say 500 billion.
It tells you a lot
That's
about.
why you 600. The guy is unstable.
It tells you a lot about his character.
Yeah, and then now,
you understand? But I for one know that yes, in as much as Joshua is a cash cow and all
can
of
they
that,
sign this contract? Can Joshua sign within the next 24 hours?
they can.
anything is
You have
possible.
your lawyers.
If you have
What
your lawyers
else
and
are
they're
they
willing to
doing?
run through
Yeah,
it, and they
depends
see
on how many pages they look. I mean, it's not all the clauses are contentious.
Yes,
You don't look at those ones and then among their
exactly.
teams or do
Well,
overnight and sign it.
I personally want to see that. I want to see that fight. Because I know the World Cup will still be going on when it will happen. So at least it still gives us something to look back. And let's make the December as jam-packed as possible.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's come back. Let's come back home. We're having a guest soon. We do hope so. Who will join us on this show? We have some presidential candidates earlier on. We have Christian Merwa. We have Mohammed Mokhtar, who is the FCT chairman, FA chairman. We've had Musa Madu, former secretary general of the FA, and then we are still having them. But then this election is supposed to take place on the 20th. But last week, like we told you, there was another court order stopping the election. We are not lawyers here, but from our own understanding of what that court order says, it says, look, go on there. You can have your elective, but it's supposed to be an elective Congress, but you're not going to have election because those who went to court were saying that, look, we went to court. We went to court earlier on to say, look, let there be inclusivity. You did not include us, and then you begged us to say, okay, fine, pull that case out of court so that you can include us, expand the house, and you didn't do that, and that's why they went back to court. Even after the president of the federation has interfered, and they are not interference. I think has intervened. I think intervened is the best word to use, not interference. Has intervened. So if the president of the country has intervened and said, okay, fine, let us get this thing done this way, and then you guys are saying, look, our father has spoken. The FA does not belong to an individual. If it's a private business,
you can do with it as you like.
You are holding this in trust for the Nigerian people.
Exactly.
You understand? So the president is also a member of the that you're presenting.
Again, the FA started as a private venture.
Of course it is.
But the moment your revenue, 100% of your revenue comes from the government. He pays the piper.
Yes.
Who dictate the tune. So
that is what we are
the moment your 100% of your revenue comes from the government, that means you can't call it a private. It's not even a joint venture anymore. It becomes solely a government venture.
Okay, so we are looking forward to see. Yesterday, I tried speaking with the FA chairman of Edo State. I'll try to reach out to him on this and try to get, if there are any updates, if there are any things that, he could update us. He said he was not in a position to do that on, get that. But we'll try as much as possible as we can to get you informed. That is what we do here, so that you will know that this is what is going on right there. But let's come back to our teams that went to the World Cup. Like I said, it's another World Cup year. This time, COVID has not taken it away. COVID couldn't take the World Cup away. Yeah. COVID postponed the Olympics by a year, but not the World Cup. And this is, like we say, it is the Winter World Cup. It is the Christmas World Cup. 7 days to Christmas. Theo has not given us whether it is 7 geese or 7 goo. I don't know what he was trying to tell us. What happens on the 7th day? On the 7th day of Christmas, we're going to get that. I will make him do that for us. He has to get those rhymes for us. What is a nursery rhyme or whatever? He is a nursery in this house. So we expect him to get done for us. So let's look at it. The World Cup started in 1930, like we said, in Uruguay. And then it started with 13 countries. 13 countries took part in the very first World Cup in Uruguay. Some European nations joined. Basically, a lot of those teams were the South Americans. And then the Uruguayans won, the inaugural trophy at home. Yeah. But then we're talking about the African journey. The African journey actually started in the next World Cup in 1934. Not only did Egypt go to that World Cup, Egypt went to that World Cup, and the first goal by an African was scored by Abdurrahman Fawzi. So put that down, because sometimes we'll start asking you questions or whatever. The first African team to be at the World Cup, the first African to score a goal at the World Cup. You understand? So that was in 1934.
Yeah.
It took 60 years before Nigeria went in 1994. It took 60 years before we made our debut. We made our debut in US in 1994.
Yeah.
And then, if you have forgotten that goal, can you remind them?
Rashidi Yekini.
Allahu Akbar.
A straight diagonal pass from Amokachi,
Yes.
and it was just more of a tapping.
Yes.
And you saw, of course, Yekini shaking
the net, shaking the net.
that was the first goal.
Rashid Yekini is shaking the net for Nigeria. That was Nigeria's first goal. Nigeria's first appearance in 1994, 60 years after Egypt appeared. But that is where Egypt just got, because they went ahead of us. But when you look at appearances, Egypt has been in the World Cup just 3 times.
Yeah.
Just 3 times.
2018.
While Nigeria has been there 6 times. But Nigeria, we can say we have been there 6 times, but then we are not up to Cameroon.
Senegal.
Okay, look at like that is it.
Okay, Cameroon unbeaten in 1982, 1990 quarterfinalists, walloped in 94. They were there in 98 with their unique jacket. So then you have 94 they were there, walloped by Sri Lanka. 98 they were there with their as well. 2002.
Sleeveless shirts.
Yes.
The FIFA said no more.
No more. 2002 they were
That
there.
was my most interesting.
2013, 2014, and they are going there again in 2022 after defeating the Algerians.
And their best appearance was 1990.
90 quarterfinal,
Quarterfinalists,
and they were unbeaten in 1982. The only unbeaten side with the Italians.
The only in 1980 they were unbeaten and failed to progress.
Yeah. So we have the Moroccans. They were there in 1970. They were there in 1986. They got to the second round. And their goalkeeper, Baduzaki, had his wife delivered while they were in Mexico. And King Hassan christened that girl, Hassana, after himself. So
and then there was before Abedi Pele, there was Mary Crimo.
Mary Crimo,
the African Pele.
Yes.
That played for Morocco at that 1986 World Cup.
You have Timomi, you have Abdulaziz Bilabella with always his bandage around his leg.
That guy reminds me of Yuri Jokev. Yuri Jokev. He plays exactly like that France player, Yuri Jokev.
So 98, they were there. Mustafa Aji, African footballer of the year.
With that beautiful goal.
Yes, they were there 2018. They are going back 2022 after knocking out the Congolese.
Yeah, so Cameroon and Morocco are going back in 2022. Then,
so we have Nigeria 3, stop 3. So, yes, 94 were there after the shaking of the Salah goal from Stoichkov.
Yes.
We got back 3-0 against the Bulgarians, who have never won a game at the World Cup. We got to the second round. 98 came back, second round again, knocked out by the Danes.
That is a record.
Yeah.
If you watch that record, Nigeria became the first African country to qualify for the second round back
to back.
twice.
Yeah.
No other country did that. Others would not, they just went, but that's the first time.
So 2002, who were there, marked the register after the Rumble at home. So 2010, same of the same. 2014, we had the Keshi that took us to second round. 2018, we had the Traptor, but we lost. We have the Ghanaians. The Brazil of Africa, who were trounced by Brazil just last week, 3-0. Their first outing in 2006, they came back 2010, made the quarterfinal, and the whole of Africa will always remember that man they call Luis Suarez. They were back in 2014 and again 2022.
I think that game against Uruguay, it broke my heart, really, because I didn't know what Asamoah was. I didn't know what he was on that day. That penalty, he just needed to put it in.
Yeah, that is the thing. That Suarez became from a villain to a hero.
Yeah, exactly.
Sent his country into the semi-final.
Exactly.
That is why they've not been since that night, since 1950.
So we had also Tunisia, the first African team to win at the World Cup.
That was in 1978.
And that was how we had 2 slots in 1982.
Yeah.
They knocked us out from 86 World Cup, but of course they lost the final round against the Algerians, 7-1 on aggregate. So they've also been there. Now we have the Algerians. They knocked us out. They gave us almost our last defeat at home in 1982 before we had consecutive home losses. That was Algeria 82. They were there in 86 as well. They lost to Brazil 3-0 in 86. They were there in 2010 and 2014. They made the second round like the Super Eagles. We have Senegalese first time in 2002. African losing AFCON finalists. They were there in the quarterfinal. They were there 2018, where they lost
And they
on the
repeated,
basis.
they repeated in 2002, beating the defending champion.
Champion.
They repeated what Cameroon did, when Cameroon defeated Argentina.
By that solitary goal.
But that's the same
Baba
solitary goal.
Diop, yeah.
And then also in that match in which the Cameroonians defeated the Argentines, they ended that match with nine men.
Benjamin Masin and Kanan Biik were sent off.
They finished a match with 9 men and still won at the World Cup. It is only an African could have done that.
Yeah, so 2018, they lost on the basis of disciplinary record. They could not qualify ahead of the Japanese, and they are back in 2020 as African champions. So we have the Egyptians, as you said, 1934, first time, came back in 1990, drew their 2 matches, but lost to England. And because that was a group of draws, the only defeat was to the Egyptians.
But I find it ironical how the most successful team on the continent, as far as male football is concerned, that's talking about Egypt, have only been to 3 World Cups.
Oh, but sometimes it's like I don't know why you say you are good at it. It's like some.
No, they're just local champions.
Look at Real Madrid how they are at Champions League compared to how they are at the La Liga.
So if you're a tournament side, it's different from playing the qualifiers. I think that is where it comes from. Then you have the South Africans. They were there in '98. Bundled out by France and Saudi Arabia. They were there in 2002 and last as host in 2010. And they became the first host that never left the group stage. They never progressed to the knockout stage. The first time it has happened.
Shabalala
goal in the history of the World Cup. So you have the Ivorians.
And I think that was the World Cup that had the most controversial ball ever. Talking about the Jabulani.
So the Ivorians are very late in getting the AFCON. They got 92. Then very late again in qualifying for the World Cup. They had 2006, a treble, 2010 and 2014. And 1 exit all.
All right.
Congo.
So Togo.
You have Congo. 9-0.
We'll take that Congolese Zaire. But I'm being told that yes, our guest is ready to join us on Zoom. It is ready. Let us go to somewhere in Lagos here to meet the FA chairman of Lagos FA chairman, Barrister Seyi Akinwunmi. Hello, Barrister Akinwunmi. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. I think I can hear you now. I can hear you. Let us go straight to it because that is we expect to have you earlier, but we need to cut this and see how far we can go. You are the FA chairman of Lagos. Can you introduce yourself to us because we'll be talking about presidential aspirants. And we know that you are one of them, and that is why we are here. Why do you want to contest? Who is Seyi Akinwunmi, and why do you want to contest for the highest office of football in Nigeria?
First of all, my name is, as you know, Seyi Akinwunmi, the FA chairman of the Lagos State Football Association. That's been adjudged for the past, God knows how many years since we've been there, as the best FA regarding grassroots development in Nigeria. I've been opportuned to also be the coordinator of the Southwest Zone of football and the chairman of the Western Nigeria Football Forum, and also I'm the current first vice president of the Nigeria Football Federation. In all my experience in football over the years, it has taken me to host African championships, African-friendly, international-friendly matches, international-friendly tournaments, and also I have been a member of the league and chaired the second tier of the National League in Nigeria. I've been in the Reform Committee and also a member of the Master Plan Committee, 10-year Master Plan Committee. So I think I have a wide sphere of experience which qualifies me to take Nigeria to the next level of football.
Okay, you hold that dual, you occupy that dual role of being the first vice chairman of the FA, of the NFF, and also the Lagos FA chairman. On which record do you want to run? Do you want to run as your record as the first vice chairman, or your record as the Lagos State FA chairman?
I want to run on my record as Sheyi Akiwumi, a football administrator who believes and who's confident of taking our football to the level that Nigerians desire. So all of those two that you're talking about, it's a woven, it's an experience, and I gave you other experiences I have. So it's based on all these experiences that I intend to run and take Nigerian football to the next level, as I said.
Okay, specifically, you were in charge of grassroots sport development at at the national level. How will you score yourself? How far do you think you succeeded? What are the imprints that you have left? Now, say, okay, these are the things that I would say if I am in charge, I am going to do it when I am the number one man.
Well, yes. I first of all, whatever it is I did as the chairman of the youth development um, must be credited to the board on which I served. But as chairman, I do think that there are a number of things that we did which were quite beneficial to the growth of Nigerian football. We went to all the states and we had under 13s and under 15s, under 15 tournaments, which were very successful from the grassroots to the region and then to the national. We had experience of taking our under 15 national team, under 16 national team out to international tournaments, which prepared us for our under 17 developmental stage. That again, I think, was very, very, very instrumental in boosting youth development in Nigeria.
Okay,
We
let me just sorry to interrupt you because we want to take a very
yeah.
short break. A one very short break. You just stay there. We'll be right back. And I want to see you smile when we come back. Okay, we're going to a short break. When we come back, but Rashida will stay with us. All right, we are back. We are still with the Lagos State FA chairman. He's also doubles also the first vice chairman of the NFF, the NFA. I know he's a lawyer, so when we start using those terms, he understands what we are talking about. But Sashiwa Kumi, I mean, give us some smiles. Give us some smile. Give us a smile. We want to see you smile. Okay. I mean, like you said, the grassroots sport development. Let me ask you this. I asked some of all those other aspirants who have been here before. In the past 7 years that you have been at the FA, and also probably with the experience in Lagos and also the Southwest, which has been very active. We can see we've been seeing you guys what you guys are doing in the Southwest. What is the bane of football development in Nigeria? What has been the major obstacle that you guys have faced, which you believe that probably when you are there, you can surmount those obstacles?
Well, I think one of the things that has been a big problem has been the dichotomy of views. A lot of people feeling excluded from the mainstream of football, rightly or wrongly. I think that we will not have communicated and had as much dialogue as we should have had with various parties, because at the end of the day, I believe that we all love football. We're all in it from whatever angle because we love football. And to change that mindset is actually a job in itself. But it's been very difficult to do that whilst you're trying to run a Nigerian Football Federation from top to bottom, which is why, in my opinion, we need to reverse that, have a bottom-up approach, and have the state FA doing the NFF, do what it needs to do. Excuse me, I don't know if you can still see me.
But, yeah, no, go on, just go on. We can hear you.
Yeah.
We'll fix the pictures.
Sorry, and allow the top of the administration of the NFF to do what it needs to do in terms of international matches, international collaborations, and focusing on stuff like that, which is bringing everybody together. That's the work at the top of the NFF, while the grassroots work, which is where a lot of the football is played, should be allowed, the FA should be allowed to do that. I believe that if we then work football bottom up, we will have a solution to these problems of people feeling excluded and all of that.
Okay.
I also believe that there needs
Go
to be
on.
created a lot more work um, in the football economy around our football for people to feel included.
Okay. What do you say to those who feel that you've been part of this FA for the past 7 years at the national level? The league has not progressed. We don't have a calendar for the league. Salaries have not been coming for the players. The league winners, at the end of the day, they don't earn anything from it. Our football is not on television. We have not gone to the World Cup. That a lot of things that you should share. That in spite of all this, what makes you think that if you are part of this team that has not, has all these drawbacks, what stands you out? How do you extricate yourself from this known or things that they are saying that this is what is your FA that they've been part of have been in the past 7 years?
Well, I'll have to say, first of all, that, and as I have always said in the course of this campaign, that as a member of the board, I take my share of the responsibility, global responsibility, corporate responsibility for what people say about the board right or what to say about the board wrong. However, I also refer people, when I had my declaration, I referred them to the statutes of the Federation. And the statutes of the Federation clearly state what the powers or the limitations of the powers of the vice president vis-a-vis the president. And therefore, I have to say that I want to be the president because I believe that I would then be in the driver's seat to fuel and to drive my ideas. So as much as I take responsibility for the corporate responsibility, I have also have dreams and plans and ideas of how I can drive it. And I will not sit down and agree that everything that we did was wrong or was bad. I think there are many things that we've done and have moved football to the next level. I just need to move it further up to the next higher level because my ideas, I think, will change football. And you're one of a board. It's very difficult if everybody doesn't agree with your ideas on any particular issue. So we brainstorm, and many things we agree on, some we don't. But as a leader, as the president, in line with our statutes, I can drive a bit more. So that really is my response to that.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Thank God you are a lawyer, so we are laymen. We don't understand this. There is supposed to be a court order stopping election in the Benin Congress, the elective Congress in Benin. I don't know if you've seen that court order. Can you tell us to your own understanding what does that court order says? Does it say the Congress will not go on from what you understand, or does it say that the Congress can go on but there will be no elections? That is if you wish. That is if you wish. Okay, go on.
Yes. Basically, I think that I was just going to say that the matter is in court, it's sub judice, and I'm part of that. So I'd rather not discuss that on television. Okay. I have my private views, and I've shared them with those I should share them with. But I don't think it's right for me to do that on TV.
I think we accept that. Don't worry, we ask these questions. I think if we are lawyers, we'll know the questions to ask and what not to ask. But we just want a little bit of clarification since we have you right there. Okay, but let me ask you this. The Players Union have been at the head of this, and also I think part of the appeal that went to this court. What is your position? They have said that the lone voice they have in that house is not enough. I mean, what are you saying about are you supporting that the 111 number that was proposed, that has been proposed, are you aligning that the house should be expanded so we can have an inclusiveness, even when the president of the federation says, you guys go and do this? Or do you say we should go on with the 44? And then, because that is why they went back to court again, and that is where we are. What is your position on the agitation of the players' union to have an expanded house?
First of all, I was the chairman of the NFF Reform Committee. And in those deliberations, we clearly looked at an expansion of the Congress because we had obviously known about all these agitations, but also because we believe that there should be a lot more in terms of inclusion. In any event, our statutes are over 10 years old. They need to be reviewed anyway. I also was a member of the 10-year master plan committee, and in there, it's very clear, and I agreed with the expansion of the Congress. But you see, everybody seems to look at expansion of the Congress as if that is the main issue. The main issue is not how that we should expand.
Okay.
How we expand is important. To what level we expand is important. There are costs to expansion, but also we need to consider what is the football itself. The football, as far as I'm concerned, is being played at and should be played at the grassroots level as a whole, and then gravitate upwards until we get to the Premier League as well as the national teams. So the cost of the FA chairman in his state must also be considered, even when you're expanding. Because truly, the annual general meeting takes place how many times a year? But the business of football itself takes place 365 days a year. So it's not enough to agitate only for expansion. I think we need to look at it holistically. And that's the reason why I believe that all this expansion issue can be taken alongside many other things, as long as everybody feels included.
Okay, let me ask you one or two personal questions. You have been the first vice chairman, which means you are the next person to the chairman. What has been your working relationship with Amaju Melvin Pinnick, the FA chairman, the president of the FA? Did you discuss your aspiration with him before you declared? And do you have his support for this particular post?
I think that's private. I think that's private between him and I, not for public. No.
Okay, I would take that. I would take that. We just want to know, what the working relationships are over there. But then let me ask you this. This is courtesy of my colleague here, where he said, what should the league expect from your administration? What should be the fulcrum of your administration in case you're yes.
The first. The fulcrum administration has been made. I've made it clear over the past few months. It's premised upon 4 pillars: football, grassroots football, and football development, the business of football, infrastructure, and technology. Those are the 4 pillars upon which everything else rests. So that affects the league, that affects the ex-players, that affects football, the national team administration, that affects the women's football, that affects many various other things, transparency in the administration. But those 4 pillars are the drivers. Because if we focus on developing football and we put football first, and we have the business of the football attracting investment into football, not just sponsorship, we have infrastructure, big and small, being created across the country, and then we use technology to administer and collaborate. Then we can drive all these things, in my opinion.
Have you done this in Lagos?
Yes, I have.
Can you give us instances?
We have people, in terms of football development, it's clear that what we've done, even if you take your own Channels Kids Cup, you can see it. We started with that, but we have numerous. We have people who have invested in our various programs. We have people who have also sponsored our various programs. Difficult as it is because of the structure where you have to almost compete with the state itself for sponsorship. we have succeeded in doing that. We have got infrastructure because look at the people who have invested. The last major one, which is probably the biggest one we have in Nigeria, is where a private investor has taken Maracana and turned it into a modern day football environment, where the place where was just red sand before. That is an example of what has been done in Lagos State. It doesn't have to be the state FA. It is creating the football that people want to invest in it. The government itself, because there's football, has invested in infrastructure. They want to do 11 new stadia across, and they started across. It's because football is being played. So those are the things that we are doing. We as administrators are facilitators. We're not the ones supposed to be invested. We are facilitators, creating an environment where people can invest. And so that has clearly been done in Lagos, and I believe it can be done even more so nationally.
Okay, human capital development. We've seen this issue of the board, which you are part of. Of course, we've had some Nigerian coaches, but of course, we have the mindset that if we bring in foreign coaches, they are they are the best for us. Have you guys ever maybe thought of yourself? Now I'm talking about you. Now I'm not talking about the board. So okay, fine. I know for sure in terms of referee, I can talk that Lagos State. I mean, we see how you brought out the young kids trying to officiate and doing them. But in the other aspect, the coaches, psychologists, other aspects that has to do with football development. How far have you gone with that in Lagos State?
Well, in Lagos State, I mean, with Lagos State, we as an FA actually have the coaches that we employ and directly and who work with us day to day. We've had numerous training sessions.
Okay.
We're even having one very soon with FCAN. We had one last year where the coaches are trained. We have paid for a number of our coaches to do a C license in Abuja over the years. So we have been involved in developing our coaches. And we also have been transparent in employing coaches for our state teams. We invited people, experts, to come and interview them, and we chose the best ones. And we encourage our coaches also speak with the clubs about what they do so that they can be employed. We changed the code of dressing in Lagos State for our coaches, which has caught on across Nigeria, where the coaches are dressed properly when they are at the side of the pitch and can transfer their knowledge, being seen as proper coaches. So yes, indeed, we have done that in Lagos a great deal. We've had people train from across the world coming into Nigeria to help us train our coaches.
Do you, do you believe that we have capable hands to handle our Super Eagles and Super Falcons, Nigerian coaches?
Oh, certainly I do.
Okay.
I certainly do.
So what would be your policy in this regard?
My policy will be that I want the best coaches for the Super Eagles and Super Falcons. I want of course, I would prefer to have a Nigerian at any point in time, but the Nigerian must be able to stand their ground against anybody and also understand the problems that we have as a national team and as Nigerians. We had a coach there are many coaches who are technically sound, but there's a lot more to managing a Nigerian national side as a Nigerian than just being technically sound. And that is important. We will lay down those criteria. And when we want to employ a coach under my leadership, we will let them know those criteria and they must be able to meet those criteria. But certainly, I want the best, and I believe that the Nigerians we have can also do the job.
Just your closing. Just take 60 seconds and give us your closing statement. But I would like to ask you something else, but because we are up for the time. Just take 6 seconds and let us and close. Talk. I'll give you 60 seconds.
I just like to say
Yeah, go on.
race, because I believe that Nigeria football today needs a change, needs a new direction. We need to start from the bottom. We need to have a mindset change. And it's not just about administrators, it's about all of us who are in football. We need to have inclusion, we need to have experience, we need someone who can hit the ground, see what we can do. So that's the reason why I'm in the race. I'm in the race for that purpose. And that is why I would like the delegates to vote me. I'm also in the race because I believe that I can actualize the reform that we all desire without adverse effect on any of the parties.
All right. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and then we wish you the very best of luck. All right, guys, that's Yakumi. We are closing. We are closing.
He has spoken,
Yeah.
but we have watched. So we'll come the day of the election. We'll see what the delegates will decide.
All right, but the elections might not go on.
Yes.
I
Yes.
wanted
Yes.
to ask him because of course the minister has invited them to come to
Yes,
to meet but we didn't have time to.
This week,
Yeah.
let's just hope that the best man gets the job and other people support the winner.
Okay, it's Channel Sport on Sunday, like we said, and this is where we want to call it a day. I apologize once more. We didn't open the line, so he's going to join on. But next week, while we are now talking about Qatar 2022, we are going to open the lines, and you join us, and let us move on. Nigeria is not there, but Africa will be there. I'm Ken Ochonogo. Have a blessed Sunday. We'll drop the pen.